You ever see a man get humiliated on purpose, and you just know it's not some careless oversight? It's all planned? That's how it started. Elijah Walker, Special Forces veteran, more medals than he'd ever brag about, stood there frozen, while Claire, the chief flight attendant, acted like she was doing him a favor by kicking him out of first class. Her words were practiced, ice cold. Perhaps you'd be more comfortable elsewhere. Passengers watched, some smirking, some pretending not to see. No one paid any mind to the old guy in first class, General William Braxley, quietly savoring the show. Most folks would have guessed this was some one-off case of racism. Nobody knew this was just the opening shot of something way, way bigger. See, Braxley had a plan. He wanted Elijah off the board, the last man alive who knew his darkest secret. Elijah checked his watch as he wedged himself in a coach. 45 minutes. That's all the time he had to figure things out before everyone on Flight 303 got caught in something they couldn't even imagine. But let me back up a sec. The airport was packed, as always, folks hustling to gates, nerves jangling, little kids dragging suitcases twice their size. Elijah looked the part of someone who's been through a weathered military jacket, American flag patch almost worn white, nothing but a duffel bag on his shoulder. He moved like someone who saved his energy for when it really counted. He got to his gate, waited while first class was called, ticket ready, just like anybody else. The gate agent didn't blink. The real trouble didn't start till he got on the plane. Claire spotted him immediately. Her smile flickered. First class. Suspicion all over her voice, enough for the nearest passengers to stare. Yes, ma'am, Elijah said, calm as a summer lake. She checked his ticket like she expected it to be fake. Even called over her co-worker, Melissa, who quietly... Still, Claire wasn't having it. We have protocols, she said, which we all know is code for we don't want her kind here. The real kicker came when a first-class passenger piped up, probably bought that off Craigslist. That got a few chuckles. Elijah just stood there, stone-faced. He'd handled worse, overseas and at home. He could have fought, could have made a scene, but something in his gut told him, not here, not now. That's fine, he said quietly, and let Claire shuffle in the coach. On the way down the aisle, he clocked 3 men whose eyes followed him with the alertness of trained soldiers. Commander Luke Anders, Navy SEAL, nodded history there, stuff never officially recorded. Elijah nodded back, kept walking, found his seat, 22C, coach middle. A young woman named Harper plopped down next to him, cursing the cramped seats. Marpebanit. Looks like we're neighbors. Elijah shook her hand, polite, and she leaned in, whispering, what happened up there was messed up. Elijah shrugged. It happens. Doesn't make it okay, she said, a law student, all fire. Boarding finished. Up front, Braxley's silver-haired general, all sharp lines under a civilian suit, glanced back, eyes meeting Elijah's for a moment heavy with history, then turned away, business as usual. The plane took off, and whatever game was starting, Elijah knew he'd been made a pawn. Pawns get sacrificed. At cruising altitude, Braxley got a message. Elijah's on board, proceed with Delta Protocol, 45 minutes. He typed confirmed, deleted it, sipped bourbon. Meanwhile, in the galley, Claire answered a burner phonesome distorted voice. Get him a snap. Make it public. She'd already moved Elijah to coach. Not enough, the voice pressed. Use whatever means necessary. She hung up, pasted her smile back on. Back in coach, Harper eyed Elijah's faded flag patch. Military? He nodded. Was. Your dad? Harper nodded, said her rock. Her dad didn't make it back. Silence, settled understanding, not awkward. Harper searched his name on her phone. Dishonorable discharge, classified ops, closed-door hearings. She found contradictions, and when Elijah caught her, he just turned away. He'd learned to live with whispers. Up ahead, Anders quietly warned his men something wasn't right. Elijah, closing his eyes, was back in Sudan 5 years ago. Covert extraction, rebels everywhere, more civilians than planned. Braxley, then a hotshot lieutenant, ordered Elijah to leave the locals. That's not your order. Elijah cut the radio and evacuated everyone he could, including a wounded Braxley. When the dust settled, Braxley blamed Elijah for everything. Insubordination, leaking intel, career ruined, doors slammed. And the world moved on, forgetting the truth. A jolt of turbulence snapped Elijah back. Thompson, one of Anders's SEALs, noticed something off in the cargo hold's unusual heat signature. In the cabin, Harper spotted a man swapping laptop bags in a practice move. Elijah noticed two covert drop, classic tradecraft. "Did you see that?" Harper whispered. Elijah nodded, excused himself to the bathroom, found a hidden transmitter in the vent. Someone was listening. In the cockpit, Captain Reynolds and co-pilot Miller fought for control as the autopilot locked out their systems. "We're being jammed," Reynolds said, panic rising. Back in coach, Elijah returned, signaled Harper, "Not now." He knew time was slipping away. 40 minutes left. The vlogger up front kept filming. Everything was getting recorded. In the galley, a flight attendant found a timer ticking down in a cabinet. Elijah checked the sun's position outside the window. Flight path had shifted. The clock just sped up. He met Anders in the galley, both of them speaking in code. "If I die on this plane, they'll say I hijacked it," Elijah said. Anders, no hesitation. "After Sudan, I know he'd do it." They split, Anders to check the cargo, Elijah to look for that swap laptop. But Claire stepped in, voice raised, accusing Elijah of intimidating passengers. The second air marshal got up, hand near his jacket. Tense moment. "I'm returning to my seat," Elijah said, calm. The vlogger caught it all on camera. Back in his seat, Harper admitted she'd researched him. Decorated veteran. Then suddenly a dishonorable discharge, something about Sudan. Elijah replied, "Official records aren't always the truth." Harper offered to access the swap laptop. She was handy with tech. Elijah nodded, and together they found it loaded with military data. False troop positions, perfect for a false flag. In the cargo hold, Thompson discovered a sealed metal case. Biological containment unit, dangerous. As he moved closer, gases said collapsed. Up front, Braxley got the message. Intruder neutralized, cargo secure. Proceed with extraction. He took the cockpit with a fake Federal Air Marshal badge. Harper cracked the laptop. "Elijah, this is about Sudan Operation Clean Slate. Witnesses, elimination." She revealed her father was among the aid workers left behind and Sudan died there, and Elijah had carried the blame. The truth shook them both. Suddenly, oxygen mask dropped, except it wasn't decompression, it was gas. Elijah shouted, "Don't breathe, it's a setup." Panic, chaos. Elijah ripped open the overhead, traced the lines, and severed the auxiliary feed. Gas flow thinned, but damage was done. Anders, dazed but upright, went after Thompson in the cargo hold with Harper. Elijah went for Claire, who finally cracked. "They told me you tried to crash the plane. I was told you were a terrorist." Elijah, steady, explained it was all a frame-up. Anders and Harper found the bioweapon, tablet, and a chilling file. Operation Clean Slate, Delta Protocol, the whole timeline. Back in coach, the vlogger showed Elijah the live streams of thousands watching. Evidence going public, Braxley's plan unraveling. But Braxley called the Pentagon, spun the narrative, Walker hijacked the plane. They had minutes before fighter jets intercepted. Harper uploaded everything to whistleblower sites. Captain Reynolds handed Elijah a biometric override code. His palm print had been loaded in, another setup. Elijah used it to retake cockpit control, turning Braxley's trap against him. A hired assassin made his move, blade out. Elijah, Anders, and Davis fought him off. The cabin banded together. Veterans, medical folk, everyday people stepped up. Claire brought proof. Braxley's calls, direct orders to release the gas. And then the fighters came to F-22s, ready to shoot them down unless the story got through. Harper, now with 3 million people watching, coordinated uploads to the media and authorities. Captain Reynolds confirmed cockpit control to ATC. Fighter jets peeled off. They prepped for landing. Braxley, desperate, broke free, gun drawn, fire missed. Harper hit Claire. Elijah and Braxley brawled in the aisle. Passengers scattered. Years of betrayal, rage, and loss boiled over in their brutal fight. Elijah disarmed Braxley as he tried to escape, pinned him for the military police and FBI. Federal agents, the team boarded, expecting to arrest a terrorist found a real villain. Evidence handed over, millions witnessing the truth in real time. Braxley cuffed, spat. "This isn't over." Elijah replied, "Yes, it is." 6 weeks later, Elijah testified before Congress. The story rocked the nation. Corruption exposed, medals restored, the truth finally free. Harper's documentary went viral, justice rolled forward, and the system at least for a moment held itself accountable. Braxley went to trial, guilty on all counts. Elijah started Pathfinder Institute, teaching a new generation what it means to serve with conscience. But what about justice at 30,000 feet? What's it worth? Who pays the price? If this story of standing up against power moved you, don't just scroll on, drop your thoughts below. Was the cost too high? What would you have done? Let's talk about what justice really means together.